Welcome back to 4K Rare Coins, where every coin tells a story, and sometimes that story is worth a fortune. In today's video, we're counting down the top 5 most valuable US quarter dollar coins that could be hiding in your pocket change right now. From rare minting errors to silver planchet mistakes worth thousands, even millions, these quarters have shocked collectors worldwide. So grab your change jar, and let's uncover the hidden treasures you might already own. Today, we're talking about the 2000D South Carolina State Quarter, one of the most fascinating coins in the 50 State Quarters program. While millions were made, a few special errors and rare versions have sold for thousands of dollars, and some experts believe there are still valuable ones hiding in everyday change. Released on May 22, 2000, the South Carolina Quarter was the 8th coin in the State Quarter series. Its design celebrates the Palmetto State with the palmetto tree, Carolina wren, and yellow jessamine flower, surrounded by the state outline and 5 stars symbolizing its admission to the Union. It's a tribute to South Carolina's beauty and history, but the 2000D version, minted in Denver, has become especially famous among collectors for one big reason: minting errors. One of the most talked about errors on this coin is the extra claw variety. On some 2000D quarters, a small die gouge near the eagle's talons creates the illusion of an extra claw gripping the arrows. Collectors love this kind of mistake, and prices have soared. Circulated examples can sell for $100 to $150, while high-grade mint state coins have brought $1,000 or more. Other valuable errors include off-center strikes, worth up to $500, double die varieties with doubled lettering or design details, bringing $100 $1,000, and rare clipped plankets, where part of the coin's edge is missing, often selling for $200 $400. Check your South Carolina quarters carefully, especially those with a D mint mark on the front. Look for doubling on the palmetto state or the bird's wings, a strange extra claw under the eagle's feet, or a rim that looks uneven or missing. If you find one, don't clean it. That can ruin the value. Instead, get it graded by PCGS or NGC for professional authentication. Before you spend another quarter, you might want to check your change. Some 1999p Georgia State Quarters have shocked collectors and auction houses by selling for jaw-dropping amounts from $300,000 all the way up to $1.2 million. That's right, the coin sitting in your pocket or coin jar could be worth more than your car or even your house. So let's dive into why the 1999p Georgia Quarter has become one of the most sought-after coins in the entire State Quarter series. Released on July 19, 1999, the Georgia State Quarter was the 4th design in the U.S. Mint's 50 State Quarters program. It features a beautiful design with the Georgia peach at the center, surrounded by live oak sprigs, the state treat, and a banner reading wisdom, justice, moderation. The reverse design was created by T. James Farrell, while the obverse features George Washington's portrait by John Flanagan. The P mint mark on this coin means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and that's where the story of these ultra-valuable varieties begins. Most Georgia quarters are only worth face value, but a small number of rare mint errors and experimental strikes have made certain coins worth hundreds of thousands, even millions. Let's look at what makes these coins so special. 1. In 1999, the U.S. Mint experimented with different coin metals for future series. A few Georgia quarters were accidentally struck on experimental plankets intended for Sacagawea dollars or foreign coins. These rare errors are slightly different in color and weight. They may appear more golden or lighter than standard quarters. Verified examples have sold for over $500,000, and if a pristine specimen is found in mint state condition, experts estimate it could top $1 million at auction. Some 1999p Georgia quarters were struck off-center or with doubled inscriptions, particularly around the words Georgia and wisdom, justice, moderation. Strong doubling or major off-center strikes can bring $1,000 to $5,000, depending on sharpness and grade. A few Georgia quarters have been found struck on 90% silver blanks, likely leftovers from proof coin runs. These silver planchet quarters are highly prized, often bringing $10,000 to $25,000 each. Grab your magnifying glass and check color and weight. Golden tone or off-weight could signal an experimental planchet. Lettering. Look for doubling on the motto or peach outline. edges, a bright silver shine, or off-center rim could indicate a major error. If you suspect you've found one, don't clean it. Have it authenticated by a professional grading company like PCGS or NGC. Certification can make the difference between pocket change and a life-changing payday. Today, we're diving into one of the most eye-catching and mysterious state quarters in U.S. history, the 2000D Maryland quarter. This coin might look ordinary, but collectors have discovered some wild and valuable minting errors that could make yours worth thousands, or even millions of dollars. That's right, from hidden silver planchet errors to dramatic off-center strikes, some of these Maryland quarters have fetched jaw-dropping prices. So before you spend that spare change, you'll definitely want to see this. Let's jump in and uncover the secrets behind the 2000D Maryland State Quarter, the old line state treasure that could still be hiding in your pocket. The Maryland State Quarter was released on March 13, 2000, as the seventh coin in the U.S. 50 State Quarters program. Designed by T. James Farrell, it celebrates Maryland's proud heritage with the State House Dome, the oldest continuously used state capitol building in America, surrounded by white oak branches, the state tree. At the bottom, you'll see the inscription, "The Old Line State," a nickname given to Maryland for the bravery of its Revolutionary War soldiers. On the obverse is the familiar portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan, and to the right, the small D mint mark, showing it was struck at the Denver Mint in the year 2000. The design may seem simple, but what lies beneath the surface has collectors buzzing. The 2000D hidden treasures, mint errors that made headlines. Even though over 1.2 billion of these coins were minted, a few extraordinary error varieties have turned ordinary pocket change into collectible gold. Let's explore the most valuable ones discovered so far. The silver planchet error, one of the rarest and most exciting finds, is the 2000D Maryland quarter struck on a 90% silver planchet. These plankets were never meant for circulation coins, yet a few slipped through the mince presses by accident. Unlike normal quarters, which are copper-nickel clad, silver planchet coins have a brighter tone, a smoother edge, and make a distinct ring sound when dropped. Collectors have paid between $5,000 and $15,000 for authenticated silver planchet Maryland quarters, and if a perfect mint state example were found, experts believe it could break $25,000 or more. Off-center strike errors, when the coin blank is misaligned during striking. Part of the design lands off-center. The result, a uniquely distorted image that collectors absolutely love. Slight off-centers 5 to 10% might bring $100 to $150. More dramatic off-centers showing only half the design can soar past $1,000, especially if the date and mint mark are visible. Double die varieties. Some 2000D Maryland quarters show doubling in the inscriptions Maryland, the Old Line State, or on the detailed lines of the State House Dome. Under magnification, this doubling is unmistakable and valuable. Strong double die examples have sold for $200 to $2,500, depending on clarity and grade. Another exciting find is the clipped planchet, where the coin has a crescent-shaped section missing from its edge. This happens when metal blanks overlap during cutting. These quirky errors bring in $75 for $100, and pristine uncirculated examples can go even higher. Condition matters more than anything. Circulated 2000D Maryland quarters are generally worth 25 cents, but uncirculated coins with flawless surfaces and full luster can be worth hundreds. According to auction records, an MS-68 2000D Maryland quarter graded by PCGS once sold for over $3,000. Even MS-67 examples often bring $200, $500 if you have a Maryland quarter that looks nearly perfect. No scratches, sharp details, and mirror-like shine. It's worth getting graded by NGC or PCGS, the viral $195 million quarter story. You might have seen wild headlines claiming a 2000D Maryland quarter worth $195 million. While that number is pure myth, no coin has sold for anywhere near that. The idea comes from real cases where unique mint errors have fetched unbelievable sums. For example, coins struck on experimental plankets, or with double denominations, like a quarter struck over a dollar coin, have been known to sell for six figures. So, while a $195 million Maryland quarter doesn't exist, an ultra-rare discovery could still be out there. How to spot a valuable Maryland quarter? Grab a magnifying glass and look for a bright silver color, possible silver planchet. Doubling on the text or dome. Partially missing design, off-center strike. Clipped or irregular edges, sharp, uncirculated luster. If you find one that looks unusual, don't clean it, that can destroy its value. Instead, handle it carefully by the edges and have it authenticated by a reputable grading service. If you've ever emptied your pocket change without a second thought, you might want to pause before tossing those quarters into a jar. Some of the coins jingling around in your purse or rolling under your car seat could actually be worth hundreds, thousands, or even millions of dollars. Among the most sought-after modern treasures is the 2001p New York State Quarter, a coin that's sending collectors into a frenzy thanks to rare mint errors and hidden varieties that can turn 25 cents into a small fortune. The story behind the 2001p New York Quarter. The New York State Quarter was released in 2001 as part of the U.S. Mint's legendary 50 State Quarters program, which ran from 1999 to 2008. Each design celebrated one of the 50 states, featuring unique symbols of local pride. For New York, the coin depicts the Statue of Liberty, the outline of the state, and the words "Gateway to Freedom." It's a beautiful design honoring New York's status as a symbol of liberty and opportunity. But not all 2001p New York quarters are created equal. While most are worth just face value, a handful of rare and unusual examples have become the stuff of legend, selling for thousands or even millions of dollars due to minting errors, composition mix-ups, and collector demand. The ultra-rare 2001p silver error. Here's where things get exciting. A small number of New York quarters were accidentally struck on 90% silver plankets intended for proof coins or leftover blanks from the pre-1999 commemorative minting process. These silver planchet errors are among the most valuable modern quarters in existence. Instead of the usual copper-nickel-clad look, these silver errors have a distinct lighter tone and produce a sharper ring when dropped. Some experts estimate that fewer than a few dozen exist. If authenticated, a genuine 2001p New York silver error could fetch $10,000 to $25,000, and if it's in pristine condition, potentially much more. The double die and off-center strike varieties. Another class of valuable New York quarters includes double die errors, where the coin's design elements appear doubled due to a misalignment during the striking process. You might notice doubling on the Statue of Liberty's torch, the text "Gateway to Freedom," or even the outline of the state. Depending on the severity of the doubling and the coin's condition, these errors can range from $100 to over to $1,000. Then there are the off-center strike errors, where part of the design is missing because the coin wasn't properly aligned during minting. A dramatic 50% off-center New York quarter could be worth $500 or more, especially if the date is still visible. Die cracks, cuts, and other mint oddities. Collectors also hunt for smaller, more subtle minting errors, known as die cracks or cuds, raised lines, or blobs of metal caused by damaged dies. These quirky coins are highly collectible, and though they don't always bring in five-figure prices, they can still sell for $50 to $300 a piece depending on rarity and visibility. The million-dollar myth: can a 2001p quarter really be worth $195 million? Every few months, social media explodes with claims of a $195 million quarter or similar outrageous figures. While those viral headlines are often exaggerated, they stem from real cases where extremely rare coins sold for massive sums, such as experimental mint errors, double denominations, or coins struck on the wrong metal. Could a one-of-a-kind 2001p New York quarter with a dramatic minting error be worth millions? In theory, yes, if it's a unique mint prototype or discovery coin unlike any other known to exist. But realistically, most valuable examples fall within the $1,000 to $25,000 range. How to check if you have a valuable quarter? Grab a magnifying glass and inspect your 2001p New York quarter carefully. Look for a brighter, silver-like color or higher-pitched ring, possible silver planchet. Doubling on letters or Liberty's torch double die variety. Partial or missing designs, off-center strike. Raised lines or blobs of metal, die cracks or cuts. If you think you found something unusual, have it authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Authentication can mean the difference between a 25-cent coin and a $10,000 treasure. The treasure hunt continues. Even though millions of these coins were minted, most valuable errors are still hiding in circulation, tucked away in old jars, or sitting unnoticed in dresser drawers. So next time you get a handful of change, take a closer look. That ordinary New York quarter could be your ticket to a serious payday. Remember, every coin has a story, and some stories are worth a fortune. Would you like me to make this sound more like a YouTube script with excitement, camera cues, and engagement lines? For example, stick around to the end to see the $1 million coin, or keep it in this article, blog format. Today, we're talking about a coin that kicked off one of the most successful U.S. mint programs ever, the 1999 D Connecticut State Quarter. It might look ordinary, but hidden among the millions produced are rare varieties and minting errors that can turn a simple 25-cent coin into a four-figure treasure. So grab your magnifying glass, hit that like button, and let's dig into the secrets of the 1999 D Connecticut Quarter, the Charter Oak coin that could still be hiding in your pocket. Released on October 12, 1999, the Connecticut State Quarter was the fifth and final coin in the first year of the 50 State Quarters program. Each coin in the series celebrated one of the 50 states with a design representing its history and identity. For Connecticut, the U.S. Mint chose the Charter Oak, an enormous tree that became a symbol of American independence and resistance. According to legend, in 1687, Connecticut patriots hid their colonial charter inside the hollow of this mighty oak to keep it safe from British authorities. The reverse design, created by T. James Farrell, beautifully captures the tree's sprawling, intricate branches with the inscriptions "The Charter Oak, Connecticut," and 1788, the year Connecticut joined the Union. On the obverse side, you'll see the familiar portrait of George Washington by John Flanagan, along with the mint mark, in this case, a D for the Denver Mint. The 1999 D Connecticut Quarter had a massive mintage. Over 1.35 billion coins were struck in Denver alone. That means finding one isn't rare, but finding one with the right kind of error or perfect condition absolutely is. Most circulated examples are only worth face value, but high-grade or error coins have brought in hundreds, even thousands at auction. Let's look at why. Even though billions of these coins were made, several minting errors and unique die varieties make certain Connecticut quarters worth serious money. When the coin blank isn't properly aligned with the dies, the design is struck off-center, leaving a portion of the image missing. Slight off-center strikes, 5 to 10%, can bring $50, $150. Dramatic off-centers, 50% or more, with the date still visible, can sell for $500 or higher. Some 1999 D Connecticut quarters show doubling on the inscriptions or branches of the Charter Oak. This happens when the die strikes the coin design twice at slightly different angles. Strong examples have sold for $200 to $2,000, depending on clarity and condition. If a blank planchet overlaps another during cutting, you'll see a missing crescent-shaped edge. Minor clips might bring $75, while dramatic ones in mint state can reach $300 for $100. The most valuable Connecticut quarter errors are those struck on plankets meant for other denominations, such as a nickel or dime planchet. These are exceptionally rare, but can fetch $1,000 to $5,000 or more when certified by PCGS or NGC. An MS681999 D Connecticut quarter once sold for over $3,500 at auction. Even an MS67 grade can bring $100 to $250. The key is finding one with sharp details, no scratches, and a flawless, mirror-like surface. Look for coins with strong luster and no bag marks. See, those are the ones collectors fight over. Grab a magnifying glass and look closely at the edges, any missing metal or irregular clip marks. The text and tree branches, doubling, or blurred lines may indicate a double die error. The alignment, if part of the design is missing or shifted, it could be an off-center strike. The mint mark, remember, this guide focuses on the 1999D, but the 1999P Philadelphia also has its own collectible varieties. If your coin looks unusual, don't clean it, that reduces its value. Instead, send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC for professional authentication. A certified coin is far easier to sell and fetches much higher prices.